Today's video is another installment of me talking about my experience with the Lime Scooter Company. After last year, I tried to uh, be a lime juicer, and I made videos about my experience, just to experience a side hustle. You know, didn't go that well, and then just a couple months ago, I made a video about how Lime is dealing with the COVID-19 stuff, and so I thought that was odd that they shut down and then they brought stuff back before the pandemic is over, and Lime scooters are pretty much a really good vector for disease and spreading stuff because different people touch it, and you got people going all through the city without being inside an enclosed vehicle, and they could be spreading germs, and they market mostly to hospital workers right now, hospital workers being more likely to be in contact with COVID-19. So it's like, I really, I already had a bad feeling about them prior to this video. But now, coronavirus is still present, it's still in the world, but we have a new story that's taking over all the news. So in the last 3 days, the world has stopped thinking about coronavirus, and now we're thinking about police brutality and race relations because of uh, the tragic death of George Floyd under the knee of a police officer, and riots started in Minneapolis. Now they've spread to everywhere. They're in my hometown of Denver. Just in filming this, I've heard a couple pops of what's either guns or fireworks out my window. I don't know. Um, we're big on fireworks in my neighborhood, though, so probably fireworks. Uh, but yeah, someone in the chat saying abracadabra, COVID is now gone. Nobody's thinking about that right now because people are out rioting, uh, and only half of them are wearing masks. They're not social distancing. I'll say that. They are marching shoulder to shoulder in cities all over the U.S., ignoring social distancing, just as things were reopening. You know. So, anyways, what I wanted to talk about in this extremely short video is Lime Scooter's response to the rioting. So, here in Denver, there was a message that went out on everyone's cell phone, and it went out Saturday morning, that because of what happened on Friday night, basically there's going to be a curfew, 8 p.m., right? I was talking with other people at the time, and we all got the notice. We were all in the Denver area. We all got the notice on our phones, on the emergency system that comes over your phones. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. That Denver is going to have a curfew because it happened in Minneapolis. Let me just check up on all this rioting news, and then what I found was tragic. Some stories even coming out of Denver, like one where somebody got run over by a car while they were trying to protest, and the Capitol building was shot up, and all sorts of stuff, right? But I check my email, and I get this strange email that came out right around the same time as we all got the notice that there was a curfew. And it was from Lime Scooter. Okay, so this goes out to all the lime juicers. I am still registered as a juicer, somebody who charges these scooters. right? I haven't done it in a year, but I still count because I still have some chargers I could. I just, I have better things to do with my time. But these guys keep on interesting me in just their reaction to things, right? The email says, "Dear Juicer, during these incredible challenging times, we want to do everything we can to ensure that juicers are safe. In order to protect your safety, if you become aware of law enforcement activity, protests, or other demonstrations, we ask that you please leave the area immediately or avoid it completely if you're aware of the activity before you're physically in the area. If there are demonstrations in your area, juicing may be temporarily limited or paused. Your safety is top priority. Please leave the scooters behind if you feel unsafe. In the event that law enforcement requests proof that you are authorized by Lime to collect, charge, and/or stage scooters around the city, please show them this email." And it goes on to say, "Lime hereby confirms that the recipient of this email is a registered juicer and is expressly authorized to collect, charge, and/or stage scooters throughout the city. Please always prioritize your personal safety, the Lime team." Right? Um, wasn't that just beautiful? Right? So they know that there's rioting that's probably going to happen, and they know that the curfew is going to happen, and that police are going to be checking people who are trying to pick up Lime scooters. So they just send out an email to all the juicers saying, show this to the police. It's as if it couldn't be faked or forwarded, you know. But similar janky things happened for the coronavirus, where employers were making up their own sort of forms for vouching for employees, and at least on those, there were verification numbers that you could call. Like your boss would leave their number and then sign their name and say, if you have any questions, call me at, and then the policeman could call that number for verification. Call your boss. Most people who made these janky forms did that because it's just it it writes itself. If you get stopped by a policeman, you want them to call your boss to make sure that the form is legit. If it goes that far, right? Because how else are they going to know? So Walmart employees got this, Kroger employees got this, Walgreens employees got this, but Lime, they're like, you know what? Just like that coronavirus thing 2 months ago, where the lockdowns happened, we might have some problems with our employees being stopped during these riots because of the curfew. So let's just send out an email with no verification on it whatsoever as far as who to call. Here it is again, people. There's no verification number anywhere to call. So if you were caught after hours, after the curfew, picking up their scooters, you're pretty much on your own. Um, but it gets better. It gets better. So they haven't sent me another email like that. But uh, later on that night, they sent out a message through the app, and it says, I'll show you guys right here. There you go. It was just a little message that says, "Juicers, we're we're temporarily pausing operations and we're pulling the fleet. There will be a lot of tasks available today at a higher price than usual. Check your app now." Which basically means if you're willing to put yourself in harm's way and go pick up their scooters and take them back to their warehouse, because they're just going to pull all the scooters because they don't want their scooters vandalized, thrown through windows and stuff, set on fire. That would be particularly horrible because the batteries are toxic, and if they were to be set on fire, that would just leave little toxic spills everywhere. Uh, Basically, they're saying if you're willing to risk your life and go through these protests to pick up our scooters, we'll pay you a little bit more. One day only. Anyways, let's see who wants to talk. Nick says that email's a joke. That's why I brought it up. Um, Shepard says a dog is a fine meal when you're starving. And that's appropriate if you're thinking about charging Lime scooters. You probably have thought about what's for dinner, and how am I going to pay for it. Um, Shepard says that he suggests that the protesters uh, write down license plates of all the cars from the out of state people that are protesting. Um, what I'll say about that is, people will come from all over to the big city to protest if they are from the little city and they're of that persuasion. You know, I expect in Denver to get people from Utah, from New Mexico, from Wyoming, from Nebraska, because they ain't got no protest scene over there. It's all in the big city. But also, if they didn't have a ride, because they don't have a car, maybe life's been tough. Maybe they rented a vehicle from Hertz, and that's why it's an out of state license. I don't know. Thank you guys for showing up and watching. I'm probably going to post a couple more videos tonight because I'm trying to do one video per day per month, you know, and I'm about like 3 videos behind. And if I just kick out some projects really quick, I can make my personal quota. And I've been keeping that up since February, so maybe you'll see me again before the night is over.